Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be going through my top 3 books and my bottom 3 books of 2025. I was able to read 100 books this year. Some of them I read as an audiobook and some books were short stories or manga. But yeah, 100 nevertheless. So let's get into my top 3 and the bottom 3. I'll probably start with the bottom first, that way we can end on a high note and not so negative. In order to talk about my top 3 and bottom 3, I'm gonna have to have some spoilers. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the book, I'm gonna say the title first, and then if you haven't read the book, you can scroll. So the first book I'm gonna talk about is called In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I gave this book 2 stars. I actually read it part of a book club at the beginning of the year. I did finish it really quickly, but I didn't like how the author used cancer in the book. I thought that was like a cop-out. The main character, Danny, was super annoying. She felt robotic and not like a real person at all. I thought it was gonna be a lighthearted story, but then it got super heavy and was just kind of a shock, really, and I wish that had been in the plot summary. I know it's a plot twist, obviously, but I just don't think it was done well. So Danny's best friend, Bella, ends up meeting this guy named Gregory, and that Gregory happens to be the Aaron that Danny had saw in one of her dreams before. Danny couldn't stop thinking about this Aaron guy, and so after Bella dies, then Danny gets with Aaron like immediately afterwards, and I just thought that was gross. Like, how can you do that to your best friend? You just went to her funeral. So weird. I just did not like this book. And then at the end, she meets Dr. Shaw, and I'm like, are they gonna start dating? Like, the way that they interacted at the end was weird. The next book that I'm going to talk about is called There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I really enjoyed Stephanie Perkins' romance books, but then I don't think her horror thriller went well. I gave it 2 stars, 1 star for the horror because there was horror, and then 2 stars because I really wanted to know what happened. I feel like this book was a lot of telling and not showing. With Haley's death, it was so anticlimactic. It literally was just 1 sentence and then she was dead. Like, I wish she would have explained more in how she died, how the killer killed her, stuff like that. When Makani's past is revealed and it's just that she cut off someone's ponytail, I was like, all of this buildup just for that? And then I just don't understand why David went after these people. Like, they didn't leave Osborne or they didn't belong. Like, there wasn't really any good explanation. What did David have in his house? Or tell us why he did this and why he suddenly started now and why these students. I think the author could have just stuck to the stalking part and following the police department on solving the crime. Some of the chapters were just chapters on the students being killed, and we don't know these students at all. We don't understand why we should care. I feel like it didn't go into the characters much at all, so I didn't really care about any of these characters at all in the book. The third and final book in my bottom 3 is Water Moon. It sounded really promising. I really enjoyed the magic and it felt whimsy and everything, but I think TikTok overhyped the book a lot. Sometimes the characters would say profound things and it just kind of got annoying after a while because it kind of made it seem like the author thinks we are the stupid ones, that we can't infer this from what the characters are going through and talking about. And it just took so long for them to figure out what was going on with Hana's dad, and there wasn't really a conclusion. I didn't like the instant love. It seemed like Keishin and Hana only knew each other for like 3 days, and then, oh, they love each other. What? No. I did really like the flying of the cranes and traveling on a song. I thought some of the magic and stuff was really cute, but the whole plot of the book I didn't really enjoy, and it just kind of fell flat for me. Okay, now on to more positive stuff. These are my top 3 books of 2025. So the first one is going to be After That Night by Karen Slaughter. So this is the 11th book in the Will Trent series. If you haven't read Will Trent, you should start with actually the Grant County series and then go to Will Trent, just because some of the characters transfer over, like Sarah. So this book, After That Night, is mainly about Sarah and what had happened to her. And I just think it was really good to know about her backstory, what happened, and kind of how this plays into the current state in the 11th book. I love the Will Trent TV series, and so that's why I started reading the books. They're totally different entities. I think of them as totally different entities. Karen Slaughter's books usually are quite fast-paced, and sometimes the books can be very dark and gruesome, so just look up trigger warnings if you have any before starting some of these books, because some of the crimes that the people commit are horrendous. Learning more about Sarah, I know a lot of people don't like Sarah's character, but I actually like her character and I like her with Will. I wish they would bring Sarah onto the Will Trent TV show, but I think they're trying to push Will and Angie together. The next book I'm going to talk about is Blood Over Bright Haven by Emma Wong. I love The Sword of Kaigan, but I believe that The Blood Over Bright Haven is a little bit more reflective of society right now, and it just is a great kind of parallel to what's going on. So Siona is the main character. She, in the beginning, she doesn't care about anyone but herself. And then she meets Tomil. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names right, but Tomil, he is Quen, and Siona learns to kind of care about other people through him. And then she learns that the blight that they use actually kills innocent people. And so that blight was also what had killed Tomil's family. The Tyrans, the upper rich Tyrans, they knew that the blight was used to kill like innocent people, but they don't care. They only care about themselves. And that's kind of like how the rich people, they only care about getting richer and don't care about helping the poor. The mages knew that they were killing innocent people, but it's what God wanted. Like, I think that reflects a lot in society with people hiding behind religion for their morals. I just thought it was a really good book about racism and the rich stepping on the poor, and how religion could play a role in this as well. And it's a dark academia book, and I really enjoyed it. It captivated me right from the beginning, and I was engrossed the whole time I was reading the book. And I love that Emma Wong has written 2 great standalones. If you haven't read The Sword of Kaigan or Blood Over Bright Haven, definitely recommend. The third and final book in my top 3 is going to be Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I love all of S.A. Cosby's books. I read them in his publication order just because I've heard that there are sometimes Easter eggs that pop up. I recently read his new book, King of Ashes, and there is a cameo of a character from a previous book, so I would definitely read it in publication order. So I chose Razorblade Tears as my favorite of his books just because I like the revenge aspect of it, and I like that the 2 main characters, they learn to work together for their common goal. I would also highly recommend listening to the audiobooks because I love the narrator. He narrates really well. I really liked how Ike and Buddy Lee became almost like brothers in a way. They also learned to become more, I guess, accepting of other people. I definitely enjoy S.A. Cosby, the way he writes fights. It is quite gory sometimes, so fair warning about that. There is definitely justice served, but the ending is also bittersweet. I think I did cry a little bit at the end. It just sucks, like, that sometimes power override all this justice and that people are corrupt up high. Well, those were my top 3 and bottom 3 books of 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed this video, and maybe how many books you read this year, what were your top books or bottom books, and subscribe if you want to. Thanks for watching and see you next time.